You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network. I'm Nicholas Callis. These are your game recaps, standing updates, and league leaders from Wednesday, June the 17th, 2020. Interleague play between the Braves and the Red Sox went 10 innings in this game, but the Braves came out on top. 3-2 is the final score, though the Red Sox out-hit the Braves 12-9. Grant Dayton got the win, Josh Osich got the loss, and Will Smith earned his 25th save of the season. An AL East game between the Rays and the Blue Jays was played. The Blue Jays got 2 in the 3rd inning and a run in the 7th. The Rays could only get 1 run in the 8th inning, and they lost by 2. However, the Blue Jays scored 3 runs on 3 hits. The Rays got 1 run on 8 hits. Ryan Baruchi got the win, Ryan Yarbrough got the loss, and Ken Giles earned his 20th save of the season. The Indians blew out the Orioles. 8-0 was the final score of this game. The Indians started scoring in the 2nd inning. They put up a run in the 4th, 3 in the 5th, and 1 in the 8th inning to win by such a large margin. Mike Clevenger got the win, and Alex Cobb got the loss. An AL West game between the Angels and the Athletics was also a blowout. The Athletics won 12-5. The A's started with an 8-run first inning. The Angels scored all 5 of their runs in the 4th inning, but it was not enough to overcome even the first inning total from the Athletics, but they scored in the 2nd, the 4th, and the 7th innings. Chris Bassett got the win, Julio Teheran got the loss, and Paul Blackburn earned his 2nd save of the season. Interleague play between the Brewers and Twins was played. The Brewers scored 9 in the 1st inning, and that allowed them to win this one outright. The Twins got 3 runs in total, 2 in the 1st and 1 in the 3rd inning, but they lost by a large margin, by 10 to be exact, 13-3 the final score. Brett Anderson got the win, and Devin Smeltzer got the loss. AL Central Baseball was played between the White Sox and the Tigers. 4-2 is the final score of this game. The Tigers scored first in the 2nd inning, but then the White Sox took the lead in the 3rd with a 3-run inning. The Tigers put up a run in the 7th to cut the deficit down to 1, but then the White Sox put up some insurance in the 8th inning, and neither team scored in the 9th. That allowed the White Sox to win. Michael Kopech got the win, Jordan Zimmerman got the loss, and Alex Colome earned his 20th save of the season. This was an AL West game. The Mariners beat the Astros 10-6, the final score. The Astros scored a run in the 2nd inning to score first. They put up an extra run in the 6th inning. Then the Mariners scored 2 to tie the game, and then their offense broke out. They got 2 runs in the 6th, 5 runs in the 7th, and 3 runs in the 8th inning. The Astros put up 4 in the 9th to attempt to make a comeback, but fell short 4 runs. The Mariners got 10 runs on 8 hits. The Astros 6 runs on 16 hits. Brennan got the win, and Abreu got the loss. The Royals and Rangers played each other, a close game. 4-3 was the final score. Each of these teams scored in the same innings. The Royals put up 2 in the top of the 4th. The Rangers put up 2 in the bottom of the 4th inning. Then the Royals scored a run in the 7th. The Rangers did them one better. Scored 2 in the 7th, and that allowed them to go up a run, and it stayed that way because they didn't score past that point. Luis Garcia got the win, Tim Hill got the loss, and Jose Leclerc earned his 16th save of the year. The Nationals beat the Giants in 10 innings. 4-3 is the final score of this game, and what a game it was. It went scoreless into extra innings. The Giants then put up 3 in the 10th inning, and the Nationals, unconventionally, unlikely, put up 4 to win the game. And look at the scoreline, too. The Nationals 4 runs on 8 hits. The Giants 3 runs on 9 hits. The Giants out-hit the Nationals, but the Nationals were able to pull off quite an unlikely comeback to win this one. Wander Suero got the win, and Sam Coonrod got the loss. Interleague play between the Yankees and the Pirates saw the Yankees win by 6 runs, 11-5 the final score. The Yankees held the lead early. They had 7 runs put up in the 2nd inning. They put up 2 in the 3rd and 1 in the 4th. The Pirates struck for 3 in the 7th and 2 in the 9th, but the Yankees were well ahead by that point, and they won this game outright. Jay Happ got the win, and Trevor Williams got the loss. The Mets and Cubs played each other, and the Cubs got shut out. 3-0 was the final score. The Mets won. Steven Matz got the win, Jose Quintana got the loss, and Edwin Diaz earned his 18th save of the season. An NL East game between the Marlins and the Phillies. Final score 4-3. The Marlins came out on top. Pablo Lopez got the win, Zach Wheeler got the loss, and Brandon Kinsler earned his 19th save of the season. The Rockies and Cardinals played each other, and the Cards came out on top, 5-2 the final score. The Cardinals scored first. They put up a run in the 4th inning and then put up 4 runs in the 5th inning. The Rockies scored in the 6th and the 9th, but they were both 1-run innings, and they fell short by 3 runs. Carlos Martinez got the win, John Gray got the loss, and Giovanni Gallegos earned his 27th save of the year. NL West baseball between the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers went 16 innings. Each team scored 2 runs in the 9th inning to send this one to extras, too. It was tied. The Diamondbacks took the lead, then the Dodgers tied the game. And despite the Dodgers' comeback to tie it in the 9th inning, they fell short 3 runs when the Diamondbacks put up 3 in the 16th. Quite a scoreline, too. The Diamondbacks 7 runs on 18 hits, no errors. The Dodgers 4 runs on 10 hits and 2 errors. Hector Rondon got the win, and Adam Kolarek got the loss. The Reds and the Padres played a game that went into extra innings as well. 4-3 the final score of this game. The Padres were able to walk it off. The Padres had to tie the game in the bottom of the 9th inning as well, or else the game would have been over after that point. But it was 3-3 going into extras, and then the Padres got a walk-off in the bottom of the 11th inning to win and beat the Reds. The Reds got 3 runs on 12 hits and committed an error. The Padres got 4 runs on 12 hits and committed no errors. Luis Perdomo got the win, and Pedro Strop got the loss. Looking at standings now, starting in the American League East, the New York Yankees are still at the top of the division. They're 44-30. They beat the Pirates twice to earn themselves a 2-game winning streak. The Blue Jays have been keeping pace with the Yankees. The Blue Jays have won 3 in a row. They're 42-32. They're 2 games back of the Yankees, and they've won 8 of their last 10 games. The Rays are 35-40, as are the Red Sox. These two have been keeping pace with each other as well, but not in a way they want to be. The Rays have lost 3 games in a row. The Red Sox have lost 2 games in a row. They're each 9.5 games back of the Yankees. And the Orioles are 33-41. They lost to the Indians today. They're 11 games back of the Yankees for first place. In the American League Central, the Minnesota Twins lead, though they lost to the Brewers today. They still have the best record in baseball. They're 53-22. The White Sox have won 2 games in a row. They're 45-29, 7.5 games back. The Indians are 41-34. They're 12 games back. They beat the Orioles today. The Tigers are 29-44. They've lost 3 games in a row, and they're 23 games back of the Twins. And the Royals are 24-51. They're 29 games back of the Twins for first place. In the American League West, the Oakland Athletics are 48-27. They still lead this division. The Astros are in second place. They're 41-32. They're 6 games back. They've lost 2 games in a row. The Angels have also lost 2 in a row. They're 34-39, 13 games back. The Rangers are 30-45. They're 18 games back. And the Mariners are 26-49. And they're 22 games back of the A's for first place. Wildcard standings look like this. The White Sox are at the top with a 45-29 record. The Blue Jays have taken over the Astros spot for that second wildcard spot. They're 42-32. The Astros trail by a half game. They're 41-32. The Indians still in contention. At this point, they're 41-34, a game and a half back. And every other team in the American League has a winning percentage under 500 and is at least 7.5 games back for that second wildcard spot that the Blue Jays have. In the National League East, the Washington Nationals still in first place. They're 43-30. They've won 3 games in a row. The Marlins beat the Phillies today. They're 42-31. They're a game back. The Braves are 39-35. They're 4.5 games back. They've won 2 in a row and 7 of their last 10. The Phillies lost to the Marlins today. They're 34-38. They're 8.5 games back. And the Mets are 31-42. They're 12 games back. And they beat the Cubs today. In the National League Central, the St. Louis Cardinals are 41-32. They're still at the top of this division, and they're on a 5-game winning streak. The Cubs are 35-39. They're 6.5 games back. The Brewers, a half game back of the Cubs for second place. They're 34-39, 7 games back of the Cardinals for first. The Reds are 31-43. They're 10.5 games back. They lost to the Padres today. And the Pirates lost 2 straight to the Yankees. They're 29-44. They're 12 games back of the Cardinals for first place. In the National League West, the Dodgers are 50-24. They've lost 3 in a row. They've gotten a bit cold for their standards, but they still have a large first-place lead. The Diamondbacks are in second place with a 41-33 record. They're 9 games back. They're also on a 5-game winning streak. The Padres are 41-34. They beat the Reds today. They're 9.5 games back of the Dodgers, and they're a half game back of the Diamondbacks for second place. The Rockies are 30-43, 19.5 games back. They've lost 3 in a row. And the Giants are still in last place, the only team in this division without 30 wins. They're 27-46, 22.5 games back of the Dodgers. And here are the wild card standings. The Marlins have the top spot. They're 42-31. The Diamondbacks with the second spot. They're 41-33. The Padres are 41-34, just a half game back of the Diamondbacks for that second wild card spot. The Braves still in contention as well. They're 39-35. They're 2 games back. And every other team in the National League has a winning percentage under 500 and is at least 6 games back of the Diamondbacks for that second wildcard spot. And looking at league leaders, starting with batting average leaders in the American League, Miguel Cabrera still at the top with a 376 average. Carlos Santana second best with a 349, and Miguel Andujar third best with a 345. In the National League, Paul Goldschmidt at the top with a 376, David Dull second best with a 349, and Nicholas Castellanos third best with a 344. Hits leaders in the American League, Miguel Cabrera has 106 hits, as does Miguel Andujar. They're each at the top, and DJ LeMahieu is third best with 102 hits. In the National League, Jonathan Villar has 107. Paul Goldschmidt has reached the century mark. He has 100 hits. And Ronald Acuna Jr. rounds out the top three with 94. At bat leaders in the American League, Jose Abreu, DJ LeMahieu, and Miguel Andujar all have the most amount of at-bats this year with 307 among American League hitters. In the National League, Jonathan Villar tops the list with 312 at-bats. Doubles leaders in the American League, Anthony Rendon has 27 doubles. Jose Abreu second best with 24. Miguel Andujar and Giancarlo Stanton are tied for third best with 23. In the National League, Jonathan Villar has 34 doubles, Christian Yelich second best with 26, and Ketel Marte is third best with 24. Triples leaders in the American League, Jose Altuve has 6 triples, Adalberto Mondesi has 5, then Whit Merrifield, Stephen Piscotty, Eddie Rosario, and Max Kepler are all tied for third best with 4. In the National League, Jonathan Villar is at the top with 5, Victor Robles is second best with 6, Chris Bryant and Hunter Pence are tied for third best with 5. Home run leaders in the American League, there's 2 at the top, J.D. Martinez and Justin Upton, each have 25. Josh Donaldson and Lourdes Gurriel Jr. are tied for third best with 24. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. one away from 30, he's at 29. Paul Goldschmidt second best with 26, and Christian Yelich rounds out the top 3 with 19. RBI leaders in the American League, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. has 70, Chris Davis second best with 64, and Jorge Soler third best with 63. In the National League, Paul Goldschmidt has 71, and he has a large lead. Christian Yelich is the next best RBI total. He has 58, and Cody Bellinger is third best with 57. Runs scored leaders in the American League, Yohan Moncada has 59 runs scored. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. has 64 runs scored. Stolen base leaders in the AL, Adalberto Mondesi is at 16, Malik Smith and D. Gordon are tied for second best with 14. In the National League, Starling Marte has 28, Trey Turner's at 26, and Jonathan Villar is third best with 19. Walks leaders in the American League, Shin-Soo Choo is at the top. With Alex Bregman, they each have 49 walks. In the National League, Paul Goldschmidt, Rhys Hoskins, Mookie Betts, and Brandon Belt all have the most amount of walks this season so far. Among NL hitters, they all have 49. On-base percentage leaders in the American League, Miguel Cabrera has a 443 OBP. Alex Bregman second best with a 432, and Michael Brantley rounds out the top 3 with a 426. In the National League, Paul Goldschmidt at the top with a 473 OBP. Christian Yelich second best with a 428, and Dansby Swanson third best with a 425. Slugging percentage leaders in the American League, Josh Donaldson's at a 676, Yohan Moncada second best with a 650, and J.D. Martinez is third best with a 640. In the National League, Paul Goldschmidt has a 756 slugging percentage, Ronald Acuna Jr. second best with a 738, and Christian Yelich rounds out the top 3 with a 680. OPS leaders in the American League, on base plus slugging percentages, Josh Donaldson's at the top with a 1.094. In the National League, Paul Goldschmidt's at the top with a 1.229. Now looking at pitcher statistics, starting with wins leaders in the American League, Kenta Maeda is at the top with 9 wins. Jake Odorizzi and Hyunjin Ryu are tied for second best with 8. In the National League, Walker Buehler has the most wins in baseball. He's at 11. Madison Bumgarner and Jimmy Nelson are tied for second best on the NL list with 8. American League losses leaders, Kenta Maeda and Chris Bassett have no losses on the season, and they're tied for the top spot. Walker Buehler and Carlos Martinez on the NL list have the least amount of losses with 1, and they're both at the top of this list. Saves leaders in the American League, Liam Hendricks has 28, Brad Hand second best with 26, and Roberto Ozuna rounds out the top 3 with 23. In the National League, Giovanni Gallegos is at 27, Kenley Jansen second best with 26, and Will Smith third best with 25. ERA leaders in the American League, Kenta Maeda and Mike Minor have the exact earned run average. They're each at a 2.23, and they're tied for the top spot. Jordan Zimmerman rounds out the top 3 with a 2.61. In the National League, Marcus Stroman has a 1.94, Walker Buehler second best with a 1.98, and Carlos Martinez is third best with a 2.34. Home runs allowed among American League pitchers, Mike Minor and Gio Gonzalez have allowed the least. They have 6 home runs allowed on the year. In the National League, Marcus Stroman and Garrett Richards have allowed the least amount of home runs in this league with 4. Shutout leaders in the American League, Garrett Cole and Monsieur Tanaka have shut out 3 games this year. Jake Odorizzi is third best with 2. In the National League, Jacob deGrom has 3 shutouts on the year. Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler, Merrill Kelly, and Walker Buehler are all at 2 shutouts on the year, and they're tied for second best. Strikeout leaders in the American League: Garrett Cole has 127, Lucas Giolito second best with 112, and Carlos Carrasco is third best with 110. In the National League, Clayton Kershaw has 124, Steven Strasburg second best with 121, and Max Scherzer rounds out the top three with 112. Complete games thrown among American League pitchers: Garrett Cole and Masahiro Tanaka have thrown 3 complete games this season. Aaron Savali and Jake Odorizzi tied for third best with 2. In the National League, Aaron Nola, Jacob deGrom, and Zach Wheeler occupy the top 3 spots, but they're all tied for the first place spot with 3 complete games thrown on the year. Innings pitched leaders in the American League: Hyunjin Ryu has the most among AL pitchers with 102. In the National League, Aaron Nola and Clayton Kershaw each occupy the top spot. They're at 105 innings recorded this year. Walks allowed among American League pitchers: Carlos Carrasco has allowed the least amount with 12. In the National League, Brett Anderson and Marcus Stroman are tied for the top spot. They've each allowed the least amount of 19 walks on the year. Whip leaders in the American League: Masahiro Tanaka's at the top of the 104, Jake Odorizzi second best with a 105, and Kenta Maeda third best with a 107. In the National League, Aaron Nola's at a whip of 1, Marcus Stroman second best with a 101, and Mike Soroka third best with a 102. Pitching WAR leaders in the American League: Jake Odorizzi's at the top with a 2.4, Shane Bieber second best with a 2.4 as well. Garrett Cole is third best with a 2.3. Carlos Carrasco also has a 2.3. He's fourth best on this list, and Masahiro Tanaka, who also has a 2.3, is fifth best on this list. In the National League, Clayton Kershaw has a 2.5, as does Steven Strasburg. Jacob deGrom and Robbie Ray are 3 and 4 on this list with a 2.4 WAR. And batting WAR leaders in the American League: Marcus Semion's at a 4.9, close to 5. Yohan Moncada second best with a 4.6, and DJ LeMahieu is third best with a 4.4. Alex Bregman a close third place finisher, but he is fourth right now, slightly behind DJ LeMahieu with a 4.4 as well. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. is at a 5.8, Christian Yelich second best with a 5.1, and Paul Goldschmidt also has a 5.1, slightly lower than Yelich is, but he's third on this list. These have been your game recaps, standing updates, and league leaders from Wednesday, June the 17th, 2020. I'm Nicholas Callis. You've been watching Major League Baseball's virtual network.